Build your mind on this direction. Serve the living God and live. Living God, living God and live. Take your troubles to Selassie God. He is the only King of Kings. King of Kings. King of Kings. Conquering Lion of Judah. Triumphantly we all must sing. All must sing. All must sing. I search and I search. Great book of man. In the Revelation, look what I find. Hail Selassie is the champion.
Jamarvin, keep the rubber drum spinning. Let it tune, the message is speaking. Keep the rubber drum spinning. Let it tune, the message is speaking. Keep the rubber drum spinning. Let it tune, the message is speaking. Bless His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie, Jah Rastafari, who liveth and reigneth with I and I continually, ever faithful, ever sure. Jah Rastafari, with no apology. And this is the Rastaman vibration.
Rasta is something coming up.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam.
Shavua Tov, Shavua Tov, Shavua Tawab, Shavua Tov, Shavua, referring to the week, or more correctly, like the 7 days.
God bless you. We find your peace out in the provable. God bless you for coming to the show tonight. God bless your day. God bless you. 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 Yeah. Rastafari.
Majesty, Hot
Kadosh, Baruchu, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning, Jah created the heaven and the earth. Then created man of his own likeness. Gave unto man wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Everybody just a run complicated, but Israel don't have it already. Man, a time to you get ready, cause everybody don't know Jaja already. Africa, we're coming to take it. Boy, 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 boy. Africa, here I come. Ethiopia land is best of us. Repatriate and make we take it all. No plan for you and I, man. Work hard and make we do it in a yard. Africa, we're coming to take it. Here I come. Oh, oh, oh. Africa, here I come. See the people coming. When we go there, we now run. Judge and know that we have to. When we go there, we now run. Judge and know that we have to get it. Africa have some real nice people. When you reach there, I know you will see it. No plan for you and I, man. Work hard and make we do this in a yard. Africa, boy, we now run left. Here I come. Boy, 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 boy. Africa, boy. Here I come. Here is how we gonna take it. Take a track up to North Africa. Then we move down to South Africa. They can move over West Africa. And then we end up in Ethiopia, man. Africa, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Here I come. We're coming to take it. Africa, hold on strong. Here I come. See the Israelites them coming. When we go there, we now run. Jaja knows that we are the never run. When we go there, we now run. Jaja knows that we are slow. Africa, here I come. Here I come. I'm coming to get you. Africa, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Jah has revealed. Africa, boy, moment to make it feel like home. Boy, 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 boy. Africa, boy, here I come.
If you want Black history, go back to Africa.
There's a lot of work to be done, oh God, in the promised land.
I feel like black people should develop themselves, you know. And, you know, all it needs is people who keep it down for either die out of the earth or something.
What is your feeling about the condition of black people here in the United States? What is your feeling about the condition of black people here in the United States? What is your feeling about the condition of black people here in the United States?
I feel like black people should develop themselves, you know, not to settle then this developing yourself having a prejudice thing to it. It's just that we are people with our own history and culture. We can educate ourselves. I mean, we are the first creators. So we have to really, everything we see on this earth, the black man make it. And I'm saying that the white man don't make some, but all wisdom comes from the black man.
You know, a lot of young viewers look up to you and are going to want to hang on every word and every syllable. Do you have a message for young people?
Well, you know, the whole thing again is to really check out the truth of Rasta and don't make like follyism. Don't make it check it out. And don't get too busy that you can't check out the truth. Because the truth is there. And Africa awaits its creators. And we know that the people in the West, headwise, them ready, you know. Them have to learn, come learn. What I'm learning in the West, them have to catch home to them people, make it be a benefit to the people. Because, I mean, how long must the black people suffer? And these are people, you know. And then we have our own culture, we have everything. We don't short anything. We have everything. Plus, we have a land that no one is living there. And we must go home to it. And when you go home, you can build all of these big buildings if you want. I mean, if you miss a city, build a city. You know what I mean? If you want a car, you can get a car. I mean, I don't see the big thing. One time America was, you know what I mean? Maybe used to have lots of all where I call it, all sort of thing I walk through. Africa is a peaceful place. You know, the full black people was a jungle and blah, blah, boom, boom.
Where have you been in Africa besides Ethiopia?
Zimbabwe.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Gabon.
How did Zimbabwe strike you?
Yeah, you know, Zimbabwe nice, man. Zimbabwe really nice. I mean, you know, it's like a paradise in a place. You know, when you go in and see it, it's beautiful.
How did the people react to you?
People's great. Yeah, people good. You know, them places when you go and you see how the people and how the land set up, you see people living. You see a man having mouse on a nice piece, and then the whole thing about it, the climate, you can go out all the while. You know, the climate nice outside.
Yeah.
If you want to look on a few lions and things, you can walk and go. And if you want to see some things that man never make, but it look like somebody make it. That's all Zimbabwe too. Because I go in a place and I see some stone farm. But I know it's not the man make it, but the weight farm, you know, is higher than something.
It's really been a pleasant and informative experience talking to you, Brother Marley.
Nice.
I thank you for your time.
I
Wish you well.
Pass that.
There's a lot of work to be done, oh gosh, in the promised land. Ethiopia. There's a lot of work to be done, oh gosh, in the promised land. Periul get a Maui, Rastafari. Got a Maui, I have some sisters. Live the man, my rock, lad. Now you sleep. Kings of kings, lords of lords, conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. Elect of God, mighty God, ever-living God, earth's rightful ruler.
Let us be the man, walking not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the ways of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. For I delight in the law of the Lord God, the Lord High. In His laws do I meditate day and night. Therefore I must be like a tree, and planted by the rivers of water, and bring forth fruit in due season. I lack, also shall not wither, and whatsoever I do it shall prosper. The weak out are not so. Oh no. They are like the trap that will drive us away. Therefore no weak out shall stand in the judgment. Now no says the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord God so high that He knoweth the ways of the righteous, and know that the ways of the weak out shall come paradise and burn. But He's a light and earthquake, brimstone and fire, to keep from and make all conception for my creation continually. And to let Thy righteousness cover the earth as the waters cover the sea. Dear end from that I walk until this I walk. Beautiful eye, so high and so mighty.
Live by the Torah and the wicked I go crumble. be Bible. Shout up to Psalms and the wicked them tremble. Live by the Bible. Shout up to Psalms and the wicked them tremble. Live by the Torah and the wicked that go crumble.
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, O children of Israel?
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad.
And here, Shema Yisrael, here for the Shavi'i, here for the seventh Aliyah, the seventh up offering, seventh reading here, the seventh Aliyah for this Shabbat Mishpatim, Sabbath judgments, Shabbat HaMishpatim, Sabbath the judgments. Here, picking up the second book of Moshe, the Hebrew book that is called Exodus chapter 23, here at verse 26. Here at verse 26 for the Shavi'i Aliyah, for this Sabbath judgments, Sendet Sar'an, Shabbat Mishpatim, Lo Tehiyeh, Mi Shakela, Wa Ekara de Arseka, Eta Nisapara Yameka. Malay. There shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in thy land. The number of thy days I will fulfill. Lo Tehiyeh Mi Shakela. None shall miscarry. Lo Tehiyeh Mi Shakela. Wa Ekara de Arseka. Eta nisapara yameka imalay, nor be barren. Where ikara de arzeka in thy land, de arzeka, the number of thy days I will fulfill. Eta nisapara yameka imalay. I will send my fear, my reverence, my terror. I will send my fear before the eye, and will destroy and destroy all the people to whom thou, the eye, wilt come. And I will make all thine enemies turn their backs to thee, to the eye. Eta iamati, eta emati, shalach lefaneka. I will send my emati, my terror, eta emati, ishalach, eta emati, ishalach, lefaneka. I will send emati, ishalach, before thee, the eye, male, lefaneka, with hamotia etakol ha'am asher tavo, by him, with natatia etakol oyeveka, eleika, oref. I will send my terror before the eye and will discomfort all the people to whom thou, the eye, shall come. And I will make all thine enemies turn their backs to thee, the eye. And I will send hornets before the eye that shall drive out the Hivite, the Canaanite, and the Hittite from before the eye. With shalachtia eta hatzirah lefaneka, with gersha eta hachiwi eta haknaeni, with eta hachiti milafaneka. I will not drive them out from before the eye in 1 year and 1 shan, unless the land become desolate and the beasts of the field multiply against thee. By little and little I will drive them out from before the eye, until thou, the eye, be increased and inherit the land. Lo, garashenua miapaneka bishana ehat pen tehiyeh haaretza she mama with rabba aleka hayata ha sadeh me'at, by little and little, me'at garshenu mipaneka ad asher tifre, with Nahalita eta haaret. By little and little, ma'ata ma'ata, darshenu amipaneka, I will drive them out from before the eye until thou, the eye, be increased and inherit the land. Ma'ata ma'at, darshenu mipaneka, ad ashera tifreh, we nahalta eta haaret. And I will set thy bounds, thy borders, thy bounds from the Yam Suf, from the Eterabahir, from the Red Sea, the Sea of Reeds, the Eritrean Sea, even to the Sea of the Philistines, and from the desert to the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and thou, the eye, shalt drive them out before the eye. Thou, the eye, shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods, nor with their Elohim. Lo tikarota lahem welelohehem berit. Thou shalt make no covenant, cut no covenant with them. Lo tikarota lahem, nor with their gods, nor with their Elohim. Velelohehem welelohehem berit. They shall not dwell in thy land, unless they make thee sin, lest they make thee sin the akab against me, against I. For if thou serve their Elohim, it will surely be a snare to thee, to the eye. Lo yeshvua be'aretzeka pen yachetiu oteka li ki ta'eroda eta Elohehem ki yihye leka le mokesh. They shall not dwell in thy land. Lo yeshvu be'arzeka. They shall not dwell in the eye land. Lo yeshvu be'arzeka. Lest they make thee sin against me, unless they make thee up against I. Pen yachitiu otekali. Pen yachitiu otekali. Ki ta'eroda eta Elohehem. For thou wilt serve their Elohim, ki ta'irod eta Elohehem, for they will be a snare to thee, to the eye. Ki yihyeh leka le mokesh. It will surely be a mokesh, a snare to the eye. Ki yihyeh leka le mokesh. And here, Shema Yisrael, here, give here. Second book of Moshe, Hebrew book called Exodus chapter 24. The order of worship pending the building of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle. And he said to Moshe, come up to Yahuwah, to Jehovah, thou, the I, and Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Yisrael. And worship ye y'all afar off. We'illa Moshe Amara Eleya Eliyahuwa Ata we Aharon Nadav wa Avivu we Shivaim Mia Mikne Mi Zikne we Shivaim Veshivaim we Shivaim Mia Zikne Yisrael we He shatach witem me rachok. And he said to Moshe, Illa Moshe Amar, come up, Elay, come up, Aliyah up, Elay, Eliyahuwah, to Jehovah, Ata, the I, male, Ata, with Aharon and Aaron, Nadab, Wa Avihu, and Abihu, with Shivaim, and 70 Mia Zikne of the elders Yisrael of Yisrael, with he shatachawitem and worship, with he shatachawihem, with he shatachawitem and worship y'all, with he shatachawitem and worship y'all, me rachok, and worship y'all afar off. And Moshe alone shall come near, Yahuwah shall come near Jehovah, but they shall not come nigh, near. Neither shall the arm, the people, go up with him. Where Nigash Moshe levado, and Moses alone shall come near Yahuwah to Jehovah with Haim lo yigashu, but they shall not come near with Haim, and they lo yigashu shall not come near with Ha'am, and the people with Ha'am lo ya'illu imo. Neither shall the people go up, shall the people aliyah up with Ha'am lo ya'illu imo, with him imo. And here the people, Ha'am, the people, Jah people accept the covenant, the worship of Ha'am, the worship of the people. Here, verse 3. And Moshe came and told the people Ha'am all the words, all the divrei, the devarim, the words of Yahuwah, of Jehovah, and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice, one voca, with one invocation, with one voice, and said, all the words that Yahuwah, that Jehovah have said, will we do. V'yavo Moshe, Waya sapir la'am et kol divrei Yahuwah, et kol ha-mishpatim, Waya ana kol ha'am, kol echad, Wayomru, kol hadvarim asher diberi Yahuwah na'iseh. And Moses came and told the people all the words of Yahuwah, of Jehovah. Wayavo Moshe, Waysaper la'am, et kol divrei Yahuwah, and all the ordinances and all the judgments, et kol ha-mishpatim. And all the people answered, Waya'an, and answered, Waya'an kol ha'am, and all ha'am, and all the people answered, Waya'an kol ha'am, kol echad, one voice, kol echad, one voice, Wayomru, and they said, Wayomru, and they said, kol ha-devarim asher diberi Yahuwah na'iseh, all the words, kol ha-devarim, all the words, asher diber Yahuwah, that Jehovah hath spoken, na'iseh, we will do, kol ha-devarim asher diber Yahuwah na'iseh. And Moses and Moshe wrote all the words of Yahuwah, of Jehovah, and rose up early in the Bokar in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes, of Yisrael. Waya yikatov Moshe tekol divrei Yehovah. Waya yashkem ba'boker. Waya even mizbeach tachat hahar ushatein esrei ma'tzeva lishanein asar shivtei Yisrael. And Moses wrote all the words of Jehovah. Wayikatoba Moshe, et kol divrei Yahuwah, all the divrei Yahuwah, the word of Jehovah. Wayashkem bavoker, and rose up in the morning. Wayashkem bavoker in the boker. Wayashkem bavoker. Waya even mizbeach, and builded an altar. Why even mizbeach tachat hahar, under the mountain. Usha tein asarei matzeva lishanein asar shivtei Israel. And 12 pillars and 12 matzevas. Usha tein asarei matzeva lishaneim asar shivtei Yisrael, according to the 12 tribes. Lishaneim asar shivtei Yisrael, tribes of Yisrael. And he sent young men of the Bnei Yisrael, of the sons of the children of Israel, who offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen to Yahuwah, to Jehovah. And Moshe took half of the blood and put in basins, and half of the blood Hadam he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book, and he took the Sefer HaBarit, the book of the covenant, and read in the audience of Ha'am, of the people. And they said, all that Yahweh, that Jehovah has said, will we do, and be obedient. Wayikach Sefer HaBarit, Wayikach Sefer HaBarit, Wayikra Bi'aznei Ha'am, Wayomru Kol Asher Diver Yahweh Na'iseh Nishma'a. And he took the book of the covenant, Wayikach, and he took Wayikach, and he took Wayikach Sefer HaBarit, the Sefer HaBarit, the book of the covenant, Wayikra Bi'aznei Ha'am, and read in the hearing, in the ears, in the hearing, Bi'aznei Ha'am, of the people. Wayomru, and they said, Wayomru, Wayomru, and they said, Kol Asher Diber Yahweh Na'iseh Nishma, all that Yahweh, that Jehovah have spoken. Kol Asher Diberi Yahweh, will we do? Na'iseh, will we do? V'nishma, and obey. V'nishma, and be obedient. Kol Asher Diberi Yahweh Na'iseh V'nishma. And Moshe, took Hadam, took the blood, and sprinkled on Ha'am, on the people, and said, behold, the blood of the covenant that Yahweh, that Jehovah hath made with you concerning all these words. Wayikach Moshe et Hadam, Vayizarok ala Ha'am, Vayomer hine dam habrit asher karati Yahweh imakem al kol ha-devari ha'ele. And Moses took the blood. Wayikach Moshe et Hadam, took the blood. Vayizarok, and sprinkled. Vayizarok al ha'am, and sprinkled it on the people. Vayomer, and said, hine, behold, hine dam habrit, behold, blood of the covenant. Hine dam habrit asher karat Yahweh imakem, that Jehovah, that Yahweh hath made with you. Asher karati Yahweh imakem al kol hadebari ha'ele, made with you in agreement with all these words, have cut with you, have made with you. Asher karati Yahweh, karat Yahweh, karat, that he has cut, that he has made in agreement. Karati Yahweh imakem, with you all call, upon all hadevarim, upon all the words, all upon kol hadevarim ha'ele, upon all these words. The worship of Moses, the priest and the elders. Then went up Moshe and Aharon, Nadav, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Yisrael, and 70 of the elders of Israel. Vaya'al Moshe, and Moshe allied up. Vaya'al Moshe, with Aharon and Nadav, Avihu, with Shivaim, Nia Zikneya Yisrael. Then allied up, then went up. Vaya'al Moshe, then Moses allied up. Vaya'al Moshe, with Aharon and Nadav, Avihu, and Aaron, Nadav, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, with Shivaim, Nia Ziknei Israel. And they saw the Elohim of Israel, and under his feet, as it were, a paved work of a sapphire stone, and as it were, the body of heaven in clearness. Vayeru. את אלוהי ישראל ותחת רגליו כמעשה לבנת הספיר וכעצם השמיים לטהר. And they saw the Elohim, Elohei Yisrael, Wayeru, et Elohei Yisrael, and they saw Wayeru, Wayeru, and they saw et Elohei Yisrael, the Elohim of Yisrael, with Tachata Raglayo, K'ma'isea Livnata Ha-Sapir, and there was under his feet, with Tachata Raglayo, the like of a paved work of sapphire stone. K'ma'isei livnata hasapir, and the like of the very heaven for clearness. Uka etzem hashamayim la tohar, for clearness, for cleanness, for clearness. Uka etzem hashamayim la tohar. And upon the nobles of the Bnei Yisrael, the sons of the children of Israel, he laid not his hand. Also, they saw Elohim, they saw the true good, the true God, and did eat and drink. With illa ileya Bnei Yisrael lo shalach yado, vayechezu et ha'Elohim, vayoklu, vayishtu. And upon the nobles of the children of Yisrael, will it's Ilay B'nei Yisrael, he laid not his hand. Lo shalach yado, he sent not his hand. Lo shalach yado, and they beheld Ha-Elohim. Vayechezu et Ha-Elohim, and they beheld, as in the vision, the Elohim, the true good, the true God, the true Trinity, the Hebrew Trinity. Vayechezu et ha-Elohim, vayoklu, vayishtu, and did eat and drink. And Jehovah said to Moshe, come up to me into the mount and be there, and I will give thee the tables of stone and a law and commandments that I have written, that thou mayest teach them. Vayomeri Yehovah el Moshe Elai ha-hara wahiye sham etna leka eta luchota ha-even ha-torah ha-mitzvah asher katavti le-horotam. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Vayomeri Yehovah el Moshe Elei, come up, Aliyah up, ascend up, Elei, Elai, to I, Elei, Elai, ascend up to I, Elei, Elai, ha-hara, into hara, the ha-hara, into the mount. Wahiye sham, and be there, Wahiye sham, and be there, Vahiye Sham, and be there. With etna leka, eta luchota ha'even, and I will give thee tables, tablets, luchota ha'even, of stone, luchota ha'even, and the law. With ha-Torah, the ha-Torah, and the law, the direction, the instruction. With ha-Torah, with ha-mitzvah, and the commandment. With ha-mitzvah, asher katavti, that I have written, asher katavti le horotam, that thou mayest teach, that I mayest teach them, le horotam. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua, and Moshe and Moses went up, allied up, into the mount of Ha-Elohim. Vayakam Moshe, we Hoshua, ne sharto, Vayala Moshe el har ha-Elohim, and Moses rose up, Vayakam, he got up, Vayakam Moshe, we Yehoshua, we Yehoshua, we Yehoshua, we Yehoshua, and Joshua, Misharto, his minister, Misharto, we Yehoshua, Misharto, Wa'ya'al, and aliying up, Moses aliying up, Wa'ya'al Moshe, Ilhar Ha-Elohim, into the mount of the Elohim, the true good, the true God. And he said to the elders, tarry y'all here for us, for I until I and I come again to y'all. And behold, Aaron and Hur with you, with y'all. If any man have any matters to do, let him make him come to them. If any man have any matters to do, make them come to them. We'illa ha-zik'eni. We'illa ha-zik'eni mamara. Shavu alanu baze. Ad ashara nashuva elekem. Wehine aherona. Wehura aimakem. Mia ba'ala de avarim. Yikasha elehem. And to the elders he said, We'illa ha-zik'enim. Ha-zik'enim. And to the zik'enim. We'illa ha-zik'enim. Amar. He said, Shavu lanu. Tarry y'all. Seat up y'all for us. Shavu lanu. On Shavu. Sit. Wait. Tarry. Shavu lanu. Bazeh. Here. Tarry. Bazeh. Here. Shavu lanu. Bazeh. Ad ashera nashuv, until we come, elekem, until we come back to you all, y'all. With him, and here, behold, with him, and here, Aaron Hur, Aaron and Hur, with him, Aaron Hur, imakem, with imakem, with y'all, Mia va'ala devarim, whosoever have a cause, devarim, words, me, Baal, me, Baal, devarim, whoever has words of his own, words have matters, Yigash, Eleihem, let him make him come near to them, Yigash, Eleihem, and here, Shema Yisrael, here the maftir, lit Sephardim, here the maftir for the Sephardim, here, second book of Moshe, Hebrew book called Exodus chapter 24 here at verse 15 for the maftir, le Sephardim, the maftir reading for the Sephardim. Wa'ya'al Moshe il hahar, wa'yakasa he anana eta hahar. And Moshe went up, aliyed up into the mount Hahar, and a cloud anan covered the mount. Wa'ya'al Moshe il hahar, Wa'yakasa he anana eta hahar. And here, Shema Yisrael is the maftir for the other Yehudim, Ashkenazim of the Yedim. Here's the maftir, second book of Moshe, Hebrew book called Exodus 24, here at verse 16, the maftir. Wa ishkon kovodi Yehovah al har Sinai. Wa yakasehu he anana shesheta yamima wa yikra illa Moshe bayom ha-shavi'i mitoka he anan. And the glory of Yahweh of Jehovah abode upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And the seventh day he called to Moshe out of the midst of the cloud. Wa'yishkon kovodi Yehovah. Wa'yishkon kovod Yehovah. And the glory of Jehovah abode. Wa'yishkon kovod Yehovah. Wa'yishkon kovodi Yehovah al har Sinai. Upon har Sinai, upon Mount Sinai. Waya kasehu he anana shesheta yamim. And the cloud, he anan, and the cloud covered it. Waya kasehu he anan sheshet yamim. 6 days, sheshet yamim. Wayikra illa Moshe, and he called out to Moshe. Wayikra il Moshe Bayom HaShavi'i. And he called out to Moshe. And the seventh day, on the seventh day, he called out to Moshe. Vayikra illa Moshe Bayom HaShavi'i. Mitok He'anan. Out of the midst. Mitok. Out of the midst. He'anan. Of the Anan, of the cloud. Mitok He'anan. And the sight of the glory of Yahweh, of Jehovah, like devouring fire on the top of the mount, in the eyes of the children of Yisrael, in the eyes of the Bnei Yisrael. O Marei Kavodi Yahweh Ka'esha O Kaleta Bi-Rosh Hahara Le-Ainei Bnei Yisrael, and the appearance of the glory, the kavod of Yahweh, of Jehovah, the kavodi Yahweh, and the appearance, Marei kavodi Yahweh, Ka'esh, Okelet, was like devouring, eating fire, Ka'esh, Okelet, Bi-Rosh, on the top, on the head, Bi-Rosh Hahar, on the head of Hahar, the head of the mount, the top of the mount, Bi-Rosh Hahar, Le-Ainei B'nei Yisrael, in the Ainei, in the eyes of the Ainei B'nei Yisrael, in the eyes of the children, the sons of Yisrael. And Moshe went into the midst of the cloud and got him up into the mount, Hahar. And Moshe and Moses was in the mount, Hahar, 40 days and 40 nights. Wayavo Moshe Bitok He'anan, Waya'alla illa Hahar, Wayahi Moshe Bahar Arba'im Yoma we Arba'im Layla. And Moses entered into the midst of the cloud. Wayavo Moshe Bitok He'anan, and went up into the mount. Waya'al, and Ali is up. Waya'al il Hahar, into the mount. Wayahi Moshe, and Moses was, and Moses be. Wayahi Moshe Bahar, and Moses was in the mount. Arba'im Yom, 40 days. Arba'im Yom, 40 days with Arba'im Layla, and 40 with Arba'im Layla, and 40 nights. And here, fulfilling the Torah aliyot, the 7 aliyot from the Torah for this Shabbat Mishpatim, Sabbath Mishpatim, Sabbath the judgments. Here, Kavod Lekalo, Kavod Dimsu, Kavod Lechailo. Glory be to the word, glory be to the sound, glory be to the power. Kavod Le'abino, Le'melkeino, glory be to thy Father and thy King. Kavod Le'kadamawi, Chayla Selassie, glory be to the first power of the Trinity. Be'Shem Yeshua HaMoshiach. In the name of Yeshua, the Messiah. Amen.
My advice to all is to fulfill the 10 Commandments. You are aware of the contents of the 10 Commandments and can elaborate on. If the nation for which I am the emperor follows and accepts this, since it's also what I accept and follow. I would believe our country is not only historically Christian, but also actively Christian.
Your Imperial Majesty, as a mature Christian, have you a special word for young people of these days?
በዚህ ቀን የኛ ግዛት ውስጥ ያለው ሁሉ ነው የምንናገረው።
On this occasion, I address also all those within our empire. Our Christianity is not restricted to a given church, and I stress above all that we do not wish to make distinctions. My advice to all is to fulfill the 10 Commandments. You are aware of the contents of the 10 Commandments and can elaborate on it. If the nation for which I am the emperor follows and accepts this, since it's also what I accept and follow, I would believe our country is not only historically Christian, but also actively Christian.
After the reading of a section of HaTorah, the law, the following baraka, the following blessing is said. Baruch ata Yahuwah Eloheinu melech ha'olam. Blessed art thou, he who he be, I Elohim, true good, true God, King of the universe, universal King, who has given us the law, HaTorah, of truth, and has planted everlasting life in our midst. Baruch ata Yahuwah noten HaTorah. Blessed art thou, Adonai, who givest I the Torah, the directions, the instructions. Shalom. Wa'imru. Amen. Stay tuned for the Haftarah and the Brit Hadash Aliyot. 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 Aliyot.
Baruch ata Adonai.
Yes! Rastafari! Yes! Rastafari!
Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet vayei olam natei vatokanu. Baruch atah Yahweh noten HaTorah Shalom. Baruch atah Adonai.
Yes! Rastafari! Yes! Rastafari!
Stay tuned for the Haftarah and the Brit Hadash Aliyot. Aliyot. Aliyot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar b'nebiim tobim v'ratzah b'dibreihem hane'amarim ba'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'Moshe abdo u'be'Israel ammo u'b'nebiei ha'emet wa'tzedek. Blessed art thou, Adonai, Eloheinu, eternal King, who has chosen good prophets and was pleased with their words that were uttered with truth. Blessed art thou, Adonai, who chooses the Torah and Moses, his servant, and Israel, his people, and the prophets of truth and righteousness.
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, O children?
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 34, verses 8 to verse 22, chapter 33, verses 25, 26. This is the word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh Buruku, after the king Zedekiah had made a covenant with all the people which were at Jerusalem to proclaim liberty to them, that every man should let his manservant and every man his maidservant, being a Hebrew or Hebress, go free, that none should serve of himself of them, to wit, of an Israelite, his brother. Now when all the princes and all the people which had entered into the covenant heard that everyone should let his manservant and everyone his maidservant go free, that none should serve themselves of them any more, then they obeyed and let them go. But afterward they turned and caused the servant and the handmaid, whom they had let go free, to return, and brought them into subjection for servants and for handmaids. Therefore the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim Israel Buruku, I made a covenant with your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of out of the house of bondmen, saying, At the end of 7 years let ye go every man his brother a Hebrew, which have been sold to thee. And when ye have served these 6 years, thou shalt let him go free from thee. But your fathers hearkened not to me, neither inclined their ear. And ye were now turned, and had done right in my sight, in proclaiming liberty every man to his neighbor. And ye had made a covenant before me in the house which is called by my name. But ye turned and polluted my name, and caused every man his servant and every man his handmaiden, whom you had set at liberty at their pleasure, to return, and brought them into subjection, to be to you for servants and for handmaids. Therefore thus saith Yahweh Buruku, ye have not hearkened to me in proclaiming liberty, every one to his brother, and every man to his neighbor. Behold, I proclaim a liberty for you, saith Yahweh, to the sword, to the pestilence, and to the famine, and I will make you to be removed into all kingdoms of the earth. And I will give the men that have transgressed my covenant, which have not performed the words of my covenant, which they had made before me, when they cut the calf in twine and passed between the parts thereof. The princes of Yehuda and the princes of Jerusalem, the eunuchs and the priests, the Kohanim, and all the people of the land which pass between the parts of the calf. I will even give them into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of them that seek their life. And their dead bodies shall be for meat to the fowls of the heaven, and to the beasts of the earth. And Zedekiah, king of Yehuda, and his princes will I give into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of them that seek their life, and into the hand of the king of Babylon's army, which are gone up from you. Behold, I will command, saith Yahweh Buruku, and cause them to return to the city, and they shall fight against it and take it, and burn it with fire, and I will make the cities of Yehuda a desolation without an inhabitant. Amen. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 33, verses 25 and 26. Thus saith Yahweh Buruku, if my covenant be not with day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I will not take any other seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them. Amen. What was once in the dark now come to light. So-called black man, Israelite. And when we speak upon the truth, no, they'll never lie, because it shines bright with the light that created light. And the black light for the original land, from the original land with the original tan, melanin. The land that I dwell in, I'm a felon in. Pause, holy cannabis lit, I'm inhaling it. Smoke, raise up, kill them all, we had to Selassie. Raise up, and we living in the last time, stays up. Everybody with the sleep while I stayed up. And then I dug into the scriptures real deep. 3 or 4 days fasting, no sleep. Let me think how I end it. I'm descended from the one Elohim befriended and spoke through the smoke. Why do we have to provoke? Why do we have to think lower than the white man? Can you imagine when Moses pulled out the right hand? What the world was like then?
I'm Elijah Muhammad, the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality to my people here in the Western Hemisphere in the United States of America, who has been lost from their own people for 400 years. Now they has been found by Almighty God Allah. In the person of
Kadamawi.
to whom praise is due forever.
Ataya Holy Kolo Allah, Rastafari calling him Ja, 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 Ja.
Like shalom, my brother, shalom, my sister, shalom, shalom. I give you love, I give you peace, shalom, 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 my brother, shalom, my sister, shalom, shalom. I give you love, I give you peace, shalom, shalom. That's minor.
Stay tuned for the Haftarah and the Brita Hadasha Aliyot, 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 Aliyot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher natan lanu Moshiach Yeshua ve'habarut shel habarit ha-hadasha. Baruch atah Adonai notain habarit ha-hadasha. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who gave to us the Messiah, Jesus, and the commandments of the new covenant. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of the new covenant.
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, O children of...
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohenu, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad.
The Brit Chadasha Chadis Kidan Renewed Covenant reading for RSS number 18, Mishpatim, Judgments, from Matthew chapter 5, verse 33 through 42, and Matthew chapter 17, verse 1 through 11. We begin B'Shem Ha'ab Ve'Habein Ve'Ruach HaKadosh Yahweh Ahad. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, he who he be, the one. Matthew chapter 5, verse 33, Lamed Gimel, verse 34, Lamed Dalet, verse 35, Lamed Hey. Od, Shemaitem, ki ne'amar la rishonim, lo tishaba, La Shakr, Weshalem Yahweh Shabuoteka, Wa Ani Omer Lakem, Lo Tishbau, Ho Shabua, Lo Bashmaim, Ki Kisei Elohim, Hema, Velo Baaretz, Ki Hadom Raglayu, Hi, Velo Biyarushalayim, Ki Kiryat Melech Rab. Again, ye have heard that it has been said by them of old time, Thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform to Yahweh thine oaths. But I say to you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is Elohim's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou cannot make one hair white or black. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. Ye have heard that it has been said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if any man will sue thee at the law, and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. Give to him that asks thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn thou not away. Ye have heard that it has been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor, and hate thy enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, and do good to them that hate you, and pray for them that despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father that is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. Matthew chapter 17, verse 1, Aleph, verse 2, Beit, verse 3, Gimel. ומקץ ששת ימים לקח לו ישוע את פטרוס ואת יעקב ואת יוחנן אחיו ויעלם בדד על הר גבוה וישתנה לעיניהם ויזהרו פניו כשמש ובגדיו כאור כלבנו והנה נראו עליהם משה ואליהו והם מדברים איתו. And after 6 days, Jesus, Yeshua, taketh Peter, James, and John his brothers, and bringeth them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared to him Moses and Elijah talking with him. Then answered Peter and said to Yeshua, Adonai, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud that said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and were sore afraid. And Yeshua came and touched them and said, Arise, and be not afraid. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man, save Yeshua only. And as they came down from the mountain, Yeshua charged them, saying, Tell the vision to no man, until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead. And his disciples asked him, saying, Why then say the scribes that Elijah must first come? And Yeshua answered and said to them, Elijah truly shall first come and restore all things. Kabor lakalu, kabor ladimtu, kabor lachailu, kabor lakedamawi, chayle selassie, be Jesus Christos sim. Glory to word, glory to sound, glory to power. Glory to Abinu Melkenu, our Father, our King, the first power of the Trinity, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. Yes, I, Rastafari.
Aviva, it's time to open the door for Eliyahu. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2
we have fulfilled. All praise be to Mesken, Xavier Mesken, Jesus Christos,
I'm Elijah Muhammad, the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality to my people here in the Western Hemisphere in the United States of America, who has been lost from their own people for 400 years. Now they has been found by Almighty God Allah. In the person of
Kadamawi.
to whom praises due forever.
Rastafari calling him Ja, 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 Ja. אני אשור, אתה יכול לקרוא לו אללה. רסטפארי calling him Ja. אמא שלי אומרת מלך המלכים מביא לרשעים. מדברת על בבילון. Oh yeah. Well, this one is dedicated to the Most High, Jah Almighty. Hey, הוא שדואג נמצא תמיד אצלי בלב. Give thanks and praise to Jah Jah. הוא שכל בוקר לו אני מודה. I'm alive for another day. הוא שדואג נמצא תמיד אצלי בלב. Give thanks and praise to Jah Jah. הוא שכל בוקר לו אני מודה שאני ער שוב for another day. תראו אותי, I'm alive for another day. Can you see me? אני ער שוב. אתה יכול לקרוא לו אללה. רסטפארי calling him Ja. אמא שלי אומרת מלך המלכים מביא לרשעים. היא מדברת על בבילון. הם אומרים לי תגזור, אבל השיער נשאר. אומרים תפסיק ליצור, אני עדיין שר. אומרים לי אל תאמין, אבל איך אחיה אם אין בי רוח. והוא שדואג נמצא תמיד אצלי בלב. Give thanks and praise to Jah Jah. הוא שכל בוקר לו אני מודה. I'm alive for another day. והוא שדואג נמצא תמיד אצלי בלב. Give thanks and praise to Jah Jah. הוא שכל בוקר לו אני מודה שאני ער שוב for another day. You need to live your life like it is not tomorrow. There is no other day. We need to think before we act, so we have the right to know and respect. Well, give thanks and praises, and thanks for reggae music. And praises one time, or give thanks and praises two times, or give thanks and praises three times. Early in the morning, and just before the night, me tell you, give thanks and praises one time, or give thanks and praises two times, or give thanks and praises three times. And then you're done. Well, let me tell you this, Jah Rastafari. God bless Rasta Ibraman. Jah bless them youth, and Jah bless y'all, and Jah bless them elderly people. Well, you know them a fought and blessed for this country and trade. Fought and blessed for our freedom and rights, yeah. Fought and blessed for this country boundaries. Hey, we need to give thanks and praises. Give thanks and praises. We need to give thanks and praises. Give thanks and praises. גושה דואג, נמצא תמיד אצלי בלב. Give thanks and praises, Jaja.
Reggae music is the king's music.
Sí, la reina de las músicas.
And it can be religious.
El rey, bueno, la reina en este caso.
Reggae music is the king's music. Reggae music is the king's music. Reggae music is the king's music.
Sí, la reina de las músicas.
And it can be religious.
El rey, bueno, la reina en este caso.
Can be religious.
Esa religión en la música. I think the reggae music is a religious music.
Reggae music is reggae music. Reggae music is the king's music.
Sí, la reina de las músicas.
And it can be religious.
El rey, bueno, la reina en este caso.
Can be religious.
2, 3, 4.
Psalm 144. Blessed be the Lord my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. My goodness and my fortress, my high tower and my deliverer, my shield, and he in whom I trust, who subdueth my people under me. Lord, what is man that thou takest knowledge of him, or the son of man that thou makest account of him? Man is like to vanity. His days are as a shadow that passeth away. Bow thy heavens, O Lord, and come down. Touch the mountains, and they shall smoke. Cast forth lightning and scatter them. Shoot out thine arrows and destroy them. Send thine hand from above. Rid me and deliver me out of great waters, from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. I will sing a new song unto thee, O God. Upon a psaltery and an instrument of 10 strings will I sing praises unto thee. It is he that giveth salvation unto kings, who delivereth David his servant from the hurtful sword. Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood, that our sons may be as plants grown up in their youth, that our daughters may be as cornerstones, polished after the similitude of a palace, that our garners may be full, affording all manner of store, that our sheep may bring forth thousands and 10,000 in our streets, that our oxen may be strong to labor, that there be no breaking in nor going out, that there be no complaining in our streets. Happy is that people that is in such a case. Yea, happy is that people whose God is the Lord.
Hashem Yeshua HaMoshiach, in the name of Adonai Yeshua HaMoshiach. Glory be the King, Kadamah Haile Selassie. Yes, Rastafari, Rastafari, Rastafari. Ravita, La Shavata, Yom Tov, Yom Tov. Baruchu et Yahuwah. Wizot HaTorah Shesam Moshe Lifnei Bnei Yisrael. And this is HaTorah, the direction, the instruction, the teaching that Moshe, Moses, Mashu, place Lifnei B'nai Yisrael, before the children, before the sons, the B'nai Yisrael. Al-fi Yahweh b'yad Moshe, according to the command, according to the mouth. Al-fi Yahweh b'yad Moshe, according to the command of Adonai, the mouth of Adonai. Al-pi Adonai, by the hand of Moses, b'yad Moshe. Deuteronomy 4:4. Wizot ha-Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael. Numbers 9:23. Al-fi Yahweh b'yad Moshe, according to the command of Adonai, b'yad Moshe, by the hand of Moses.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad.
First words for this 18th Torah portion. Mishpatim, judgments.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Adonai.
Shalom, Chaverim, shalom. This is Yadin ben Kushi, Yadin ben Chayil. This is Ras Iadonis Tafari of the LOJ, the Line of Judah Society of His Imperial Majesty, here, Royal Order of the Ethiopian Hebrews after the order of Malkiah Tzedek. And here we're at the 18th sabbatical study for this Shabbat Strong. Here we're at Shabbat Mishpatim, right, which is called Sabbath Judgments, Sabbath Judgments. Let's see if we can bring this up right here. Sabbath Judgments right here. Bring up the area of scripture here, because we're recording this and also to share this on, the platform, right? On the platform as well, right? On the podcast, right? And also for the Rastafari Jews, right? So here we pick up right here with Exodus chapter 21, verse 1 right here for this 18th sabbatical study here in I Rastafari Yeshiva for this Shabbat, for this Shabbat Strong, for Shabbat Mishpatim, Shabbat Mishpatim. Here picking up with Exodus chapter 21, verse 1 to chapter 24, verse 18, Chaverim. So here we'd like to touch on some of the basic preliminary questions, point of reference, the H4C, Hebrew for Christians, give thanks to John J. Parsons, but we're going to add a little bit more detail as well, but a basic point of reference here for this sabbatical study, for this Shabbat Strong. So here, Exodus chapter 21, verse 1, right? Chapter 21, verse 1, Mishpatim. Let's go to the Hebrew first. It says, Ve'ele ha-mishpatim asher tasim lifnehem. Ve'ele, and these ha-mishpatim. So for ones and ones, seeing the vlog, you see the word is highlighted. Ha-mishpatim. So often ones in Judaism and other Yehudi Jews, and even some of us have said like mishpatim, it's Shabbat mishpatim. But more correctly, according to Ha-Torah, it is ha-mishpatim, ha-mishpatim. And here we have it from the mishpat, right? Mishpat, mishpot. Somebody says mishpat, mishpot. Judgment, justice, ordinance, judgment. It's like a sentence of a decision, basically a sentence of decision of judgment. Mishpat, mishpatim. Let's go down here to Strong's. Here we have the H4941, which is a verdict. So we have mishpat. What is mishpat? Mishpat, singular, mishpatim, plural, ha-mishpatim, definite article. The judgments, right? Or the ordinances, or the verdicts, or the sentences, right? Now, this comes from the H8199, which is Shafat. Shafat. What is Shafat? Shafat or Shafat, one might enunciate as, is to judge, to govern, to vindicate, to punish. Let's get down to this right here. We like how Strong's bring it down. The primitive root, to judge, which is to pronounce a sentence, pronounce like a judicial decision for or against. The implication that can be implied as to vindicate one, somebody been falsely accused, but the evidence vindicates them, and the liar, the false witness, is punished. Just to give an example. By extension, Shafat, right? Shafat, as we have in Jehoshaphat. So the valley of decision, the valley of Jehoshaphat. That there in the translation has the Shafat. Shafat. Yahweh, Jehovah Shaphat, judge, right? Or governs. By extension can mean to govern. In a passive sense is to litigate a case, So here, bringing it to the root right here, we have a verdict. So a mishpat, singular, mishpat is a verdict, whether favorable or unfavorable, pronounced judicially. Especially it's a sentence, like a formal decree, whether it's human or particularly of divine Torah, direction, instruction, Torah, individual or collective. It includes the act, the place, the suit, the crime, the penalty. Abstractly, in the abstract sense, we have the sense of tzedek, and even deen, right? These are other Hebrew terms. But abstractly, it refers to what is in English is justice, right? Including a particular right or privilege, whether it's a statutory, like a statutory by a statute, right? Or whether it's a custom, traditional things, customary things. We could say like customs or the culture of a people. We have a lot of this as well in HaTorah, right? Even a particular style. So we want to point this out right here to the key word, the first word right here, that often is translated simply as mishpatim, ha-mishpatim. Ve'ele, modern Hebrew, ve'ele ha-mishpatim, asher tasima lifneihem. Ve'ele, and these ha-mishpatim, and these are the judgments, ordinances, these are the sentences, these are the verdicts. You get it? These are the verdicts. We'ele. As you said, this speaks on the Hebrew civil laws. So mishpatim is speaking on the Hebrew civil laws here in this 18th sabbatical study for ha-mishpatim, right? We'ele ha-mishpatim. And these are the verdicts, the sentences, or in the common translation, the judgments. Asher, that which tasim, that which you shall set lifneihem, panai, the face, before their faces, before their perceptions, bringing out a little higher sense of before their perceptions, for them to perceive this. This is before their faces, right? It's in their face, right? This is the opening words right here for this 18th sabbatical study for this Shabua. So since this Shabua, to say like 7 days, or in another way of saying this week, right? This particular week, this 7 days, this Torah portion, this reading and feeding here, this sabbatical manna, the angel's bread, it focuses on, quote, civil laws, or what we bring out as the Hebrew civil laws. We begin by reviewing some basic Hebraic and Judaic concepts regarding Torah, regarding what is called, quote, law, aka regarding Torah, right? So let's begin. We have about 12 basic questions right here, preliminary questions right here for this 18th sabbatical study for Shabbat HaMishpatim, Sabbath, the judgments, the ordinances, the verdicts, the sentences. Question one. What does the word Torah, what does the word Torah mean? What does the word Torah mean? Chabarim, what does it mean? Torah means direction or teaching. Direction or teaching. It does not mean, quote, law, as is commonly taught by Christians, especially the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant and, what we call counterfeit Christianity teachers and preachers. Torah does not mean law in that sense. Let's show and prove this right here, just for ones to see this for themselves right here. Let us go to, let's look up law. Let's just look up law, right? Let's look up law right here. Law, right? Let's look up law. Not daughter-in-law, not son-in-law, not sons-in-law, my laws. This is an interesting verse right here because this is the verse that we like to connect with. There was Torah before Torah. There was Torah before Moshe's Torah, before the law of Moses, or the Torah of what we call and what's called the Torah of Moses. So we're in right here, the giving of the direction instructions at Mount Sinai. Here we have Genesis Bereshit, Genesis chapter 26 and 5. It says, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. You see the word laws? It's the H8451. Now, I think this is probably one of the first times within the Torah, the 5 books of Moshe, right, that we have the word Torah. Right? I think this is one of the first times right here. Now, here, this verse is saying that Abraham, Avinu Abraham, had obeyed Yahweh Eloheinu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Hashem, the Holy One, blessed be His voice, and kept my charge, my commandments. So there were commandments in the time of Abraham. So start to think outside the so-called Babylonian matrix. Come out of her, my people. Right? My commandments, my statutes, and my laws. All right. Now it's very, very interesting because these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, the key 5 key words. All right. As it says, even in the Torah here in the second book in Shemot in Exodus, this covenant, what does he say? This covenant that I make with you, with the sons of Israel, right, in the time of Moshe, is not as the covenant that he made with our forefathers, with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Check, point that out. Because people get confused about these points, but there is the Torah before, right, the Torah that's known as the Torah or the law of Moses. Just get into the verse right here. Let's just bring out the Hebrew of this particular verse right here. Here, Genesis 26 and 5. Eikev asher shama Avraham bikoli vayishmor mishamarti mitzotai chukotai vitorotai and my torotai, my Torahs. Actually it says my Torahs. It's plural. Vitorotai, vitorotai. Because asher, right, that shama, that he heard, that he obeyed, Aikeb, the consequence on the heels of, it's subsequent to the fact that he heard, that Abraham heard, Aikeb asher shama Abraham, bikoli, in my voice, by way of my call, my voice, bikoli, Wayishmor, and he shamarred, and he hedged about, he kept, he observed. Vayishmor, mishmarti is to say like my service, right? Often my charge, my service. It's another key word right here. Mishmeret, to guard, to charge, a function, obligation, a service, a watch. Bring it down right here to Strong's definition. Mishmeret, we have the act of a custody like a sentry, like a post, a preservation, right? But brought out in translation as charge. Come again from the beginning. Ani l'chozir. I repeat, Aikev asher shama Avraham bikoli vayishmor, and he kept mishmarti, my charge, mitzotai, not mitzvah, not mitzvah, but mitzvotai, my commandments. So there was more than one imperative, whether it was aseh or lo ta'aseh. All right, it's aseh to do or lo ta'aseh. Whether it was a positive command to do or a negative command not to do, he kept them. Right? It says, Wayishmor mishmarti mitzotai chukotai, my statutes, my hukim, right? My statutes. But here's the key word: vitorotai, vitorotai. So torotai connects with this first question right here concerning what does the word Torah mean? Here we have the H8451, Torah, right? Now it has in the Hebrew two spellings, right? There is what, from a Hebraic perspective, we say the defective spelling or the not full spelling, the short spelling, usually the latter day spelling or defective spelling with 3 letters, or the more fuller letter where the wow, where the vav or the wow is there for the old sound, Tawara, Torah, baby Hebrew, Tawara, right? As we refine the Hebrew, Tawara, Torah, right? Torah. So the BDB brings it out as law, direction, instruction. So law is how it's often commonly taught, right? But from the Hebrew sense, it's direction, instruction, whether it's a human direction, instruction, or a divine direction, instruction. From a Hebraic perspective, it's the body of the prophetic teaching. So it's the word teaching, Torah. Give us a Torah of his divine majesty, the Torah, the teaching. It's instruction in the Messianic age, the instruction of the Rabbi of Rabbis, our Black Lord and Savior, Yeshua HaNotzri, Yeshua HaMoshiach, the instruction, right? So even we have Torah in what's called the Brit Chadash, the New Testament. It's also the body of the priestly directional instructions, because we have the 3rd book, Vayikra, Leviticus, right? And that's the priestly direction instruction. Do this, aseh, lo ta'aseh. Don't do that. It's the body, right, of legal directives. So we have the law. For example, there's the Torah of the burnt offerings of the Olah. And there's also the Torah. That's why it says Torotai, Torot, direction, instruction. So all of it is one, is HaTorah, is the direction, instruction. But in the direction, instruction, there are specific directions and instructions. There are specific directions, and for example, the direction instruction of the leper, direction instruction of a woman in childbirth, direction instruction of an unclean man, direction instruction of the burnt offering, direction instruction of this, of that. But all of it is one direction instruction. But as we read the Torah, it says this is the Torah of this, this is the Torah of that. Check. So Abraham had the Torah too. He had Yahweh, right? Jehovah's direction instructions, Jehovah's direction instructions, and also special laws and codes of law or direction instruction. There's some things that were customary or a manner, and therefore to keep to the custom and the manner that was agreed upon and accepted, this is also comes into Torah. We have the Deuteronomic, right? Like in Deuteronomy, or read Zedagim, the repetition, Devarim, the repetition, and also overall the Mosaic. Now, the word Torah is a noun feminine. This is something that often is overlooked in the Western Gentile confusion. You know, it's often overlooked that Torah is the feminine word. And even in the Proverbs, the Mishlei Shlomo, the Proverbs of Solomon, Proverbs 1:8, it says, my son, and from a Hebrew perspective, like my disciple, my son, right? Hear the instruction of thy father, forsake not the Torah of thy mother. So the Torah for the Hebrew, the faithful Torah observant Hebrew Israelite, is likened to a mother and is likened to she, right? She is a tree of life to all that take hold of her, right? So all that kind of feminism, ism, schism that is strictly white Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, white inferiority posed as supremacy, cracker Christianity, so we trample, we crush that with the truth. So it's a noun feminine Torah, right? So here's Strong's definition from the H3384, right? A precept or statute, especially the Decalogue or the Pentateuch, right? Law. What does this mean? When we study the Torah, the specific area of the Torah, the real direction, instruction that no doubt Abraham also had and was given were those 10 words. The Eseret, the Aseret Hadibarim, that modern Jews call the Aseret Hadibrot, right? But Hadibarim, those 10 words called the 10 Commandments, right? That is the heart of the matter. That is, if we fulfill that, all the rest that we have in the Torah is commentary and case study, basically commentary and case study. And we'll find out that if it wasn't for the children of Israel breaking that first covenant before the covenant was made new or renewed, even in the wilderness in Exodus, that might have been the basic of what they would have had. They would not have had this full compendium, but because they thought themselves righteous, you know what I mean? Like when somebody, say, I could do it all. Okay. All right. I just accepted you as you were, but now you saying you could do all of this. Okay, I'm gonna put you to the test. That's what you're requesting, right? The knowledge of good and evil, right? Okay, so here. So we have Torotai. Oh, let's get to that root word right there of Torah, where it says it comes from the H3384. This will sum it up, right? The H3384 is the root. Yara, we have Yara with an Aleph, Yara, and we have Yarah with a Hey. Yarah, Aleph, Yarah, Hey, right? One with an A, the Aleph, and one with the H. This is the root of Torah. So Torah comes from Yarah, right? And Yarah, Hebraically, BDB defines it as to throw, to shoot, to cast, to pour. To throw, to cast, to shoot arrows, to throw water, to be shot, to throw, to cast, to shoot. But here is the Hebraic idea that's even brought out in the Hefil sense, right, is to point out, to show. Like in pointing a finger is like aiming a bow. Think about it. To point a finger, aiming a bow, or you aiming a ball or whatever you are throwing. Right? You're aiming in that direction, that pointing out, showing. So it has the Hebrew two truths. It can have two applications, right? To throw, to shoot, or even in the sense to pour out, like to pour out water, right? Because the law is like water, right? The flow of it, to point out, to show. But here's the sense: to direct, to teach, to instruct, right? To throw water, right? To rain, the sense of Torah, to rain. So we have like the Moreh, right? The Moreh, the teacher of basic Hebrew letters in Torah, the Moreh, that instructor or female instructor is Morah. But what we also have in it is a rainfall, like the rain, the flow of the rain, right? The teacher of Torah, right? The flow. So there's an important water connection with Torah. And there's also a maternal or the divine feminine aspect, right? That tree of life aspect with Torah, right? From the Hebrew. So the root here, the primitive root, properly the word Yara is to flow as water. Yara, to flow as water. What's interesting is that even in the air, with an arrow, if you understand like archery and even snipership, they recognize they have to measure the winds because that will affect the flow of the projectile, if you understand it, right? There's water above, there's water below, water everywhere. Properly to flow as water, that is to rain, right? Transitively is to lay or to throw. So like to throw an arrow, right? To shoot an arrow, right? Figuratively, and this is where the Torah comes into the context here in the second of the two truths, right? In the kind of allegorical application of the word is to point out as if aiming, right? As if aiming the finger. So Judaically, they have some of the pointers that have a finger on it when they're reading the Torah scroll, aiming a finger. But the implication here is to teach, to point out, to instruct. So this word, the root word yara, in the King James Version of the Bible is often translated as archer. The root word links with archer, to yore, right, to cast, to direct, right, to inform, to instruct, to lay, right, to shoot, to teach itself. Also the teacher, the mora, right, and the teaching. And the sense of it is to be thorough, to be thorough. This is the sense of being thorough, right? This is why our approach to the Torah studies often is more thorough. Remember, we're just touching on this one, right, of the 12, of the 12 related preliminary. This is a preliminary question, right? A preliminary question. But it's an important preliminary question because, like if the foundation is off, then the whole structure and the edifice is going to be off, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But this is the first, right? The first Torah. What does the word Torah mean? It means direction and teaching, right? Direction and teaching, or direction and instruction. Question 2 right here. What does Torah she biktav? Torah she biktav, modern Hebrew, Torah she biktav, biktav. Torah she biktab, she biktab. What does Torah she biktab mean? Torah she biktab. It's a Torah, right? That which is written. She biktab, katab, to be written, right? That which is written, the written Torah. So the expression Torah she biktav, right, means the written Torah. Literally, the Torah, direction, instruction, she, that which, short for Asher, Torah, Asher, biktav, Torah, she, biktav, that which is katab, that which is in writing, biktav, that which is in writing. This refers to the text that has been meticulously transmitted since the ancient times and the times of Moshe, right, in the form of what we know as the Sefer, or scroll, Sefer, the cipher, the Sefer Torah. Sefer Torah in S, that is to say, like a kosher Torah scroll, a proper, like, Torah scroll. So Torah she biktav is the Torah as is written. And Robbeinu, our rabbi, the rabbi of rabbis, Yeshua HaMoshiach, right, brings that out even in the Brit Chadasha. When you see what is written, is it not written? Is it not written? So when Yeshua is saying, because he's a rabbi, let's check, he's the rabbi of rabbis, right? Yeshua, right, Hanotzri, is saying, have you not read that which was written? Have you not read Torah Shebiktav? Have you not read Torah Shebiktav? Right? Because you're speaking to these other rabbis, like we say, our Elohim is the Elohim of Elohim. Our King is the King of Kings. So our rabbi Yeshua, our teacher, our instructor, our master is the master of masters. And he shows and proves in the Brit Hadasha, Hebraically speaking. You see, you get lost in that translation. But when we now can trace from the translation to the original context based on the the foundation, Torah, it becomes very clear. Right? Have you not read Torah Shebiktav? Have you not read, right, the Torah that is written? So Torah Shebiktav stands for the Torah Shebiktav, that which biktav, katav, that which is katav, be katav, in writing, Shebiktav, that which is in writing. Question 3. What does the word mitzvah, what is the word mitzvah, modern Hebrew mitzvah, ancient Afro-Semitic pointing mitzvah. You remember in that quote right there, we had mitzvah, right? We had mitzvah, right? We had it with commandments. Here's the word right there. Now they have mitzvah, modern Eastern European mother tongue, but remember Hebrew is an Afro-Semitic Afro-Shemitic language. Therefore, the more proper pronunciation and ancient is mitzvah, mitzvah, right? So what does the word mitzvah mean, chaverim? The basic translation is commandment, right? And this is understood as an opportunity. So when we say mitzvah, Judaically, Hebraically, even we, the black Jews of the line of the tribe of Judah, when we say, like, you might hear one say, oh, you did a mitzvah, like, helping out a Gentile or helping a fellow Yid, Yehudi out in some way is doing a mitzvah. It's like doing a commandment, right? So this interpretation will be an opportunity, right, to serve Hailehim, to serve Eloheinu, to serve our power, our source, by doing and keeping the commandments and doing a mitzvah. The plural of mitzvah, right, is mitzvot or mitzvot, right, in the Afro-Shemitic pointing, but modern Hebrew, right, we also circumnavigate that as mitzvot, modern Hebrew mitzvot. Ancient pointing, for our purposes, where we going, right, is mitzvot, commandments. So we have this right here, commandment, as you can see right here, commandment, the code of wisdom, commandment, mitzvah, and it's from sawa, right, sawa. Modern Hebrew, they say sava, sawa, the H6680, sawa. And sawa means to command, to charge. You can say almost like to order, to conjoin, right, to constitute. But a sense often given as command. So mitzvah or mitzvah means command, right? Means a command. We like to also call it an imperative, right? It's an imperative. Imperative means like to do, like it's like a action command. To do, aseh, or lo ta'aseh, or not to do. Question 4. According to the tribe, the Judaic tribe, right, the Hebraic tribe, how many commandments occur, right? How many commandments occur in the written Torah, or in the Torah shebiktav? Torah shebiktav, the Torah that is written. How many? According to tribe, tradition. Traditionally speaking, there are 613. It's counted as 613. Now there's the word taryag, right? Taryag, which is kind of a Hebraic Judaic acronym, right? That refers, right, to the 613 commandments, right? Referring to the 613 commandments, the 613 imperatives, to do or not to do. That is given in the Torah shebiktav, the Torah that is written. In the Judaic tribe and tradition, it divides these 613, right, into what is referred to as the 248, right, the 248 positive. That's the aseh, right, the aseh, mitzvot aseh, the commandments to do, the positive commandments. And then we have the thou shalt. Basically, that is where we find the thou shalt, right? When we're looking at the scripts and we come across the thou shalt, right? Just to make ones understand that right there, right? The thou shalt. 613, we have the division of the positive and the negative commandments. The positive are counted as 248. The thou shalt, ta'aseh. And then we have the 365, the 365 negative, and those are basically thou shalt not, or lo ta'aseh, no ta'aseh, no you male do, lo ta'aseh, you male do, right? Lo ta'aseh, you male don't do commandments. So the positive commandments are called the mitzvot aseh. ashe, right? Aseh, mitzvot aseh, and the negative are the mitzvot lo ta'aseh, mitzvot lo, not, don't, ta'aseh, don't do. So just to break that down there, so we have the positive and the negative commandments. So when he talk about the 600 and, the 10 commandments was taken from the 42 negative confessions, but there are positive and negative commands. So see, it's much deeper than you've been made to believe, right? But next question right here, question 5. Approximately how many commandments occur in the New Testament? Oh, you didn't know, right? How many commandments, right? How many commandments occur in the New Testament? Did you know that in the New Testament, there are over 1,000, as been counted by those who have counted, right? They say there are over 1,000 distinct commandments that have been identified in the Brit Chadasha, in the Hadis Al-Kidan, in the Hadis Kidan, the New Testament, the Brit Chadasha, renewed covenant, if you please. There are over 1,000 distinct commandments identified just in the New Testament, what's called the New Testament. Question 6. In the Torah Shebiktav, in the written Torah, what are the 3 basic categories of mitzvot, of commandments? In the written Torah, Torah Shebiktav, right? What are the 3 basic categories of mitzvot or mitzvot? What are the 3 basic categories? 3 basic categories are called mishpatim, as for this Shabbat, mishpat, right? Which sometimes is brought out as, sometimes they even translate as laws, but judgments, right? Sentences, verdicts, chukim, right? Which more properly is like statutes or ordinances, or in some cases interpreted as decrees, and the edot. What is the edot? Edot is the testimonials. So the 3 basic categories of that which we are commanded to do, ta'aseh or lo ta'aseh, can be the mishpatim, the judgments, right? The chukim, the statutes, right? And the edot, the testimonies or the testimonials. Question 7. What does the word mishpatim mean, Chaverim? I think we touched on this already, but what does the term, right? What does the word, the Hebrew word mishpatim mean? Can you give examples? Well, we give an example in Exodus 15 and 25 when it speaks about statutes and ordinances, right? Statutes and ordinances. Well, judgments, right, or laws, right, verdicts, is derived from the Hebrew word shafat. We touched on that a little earlier in this vlog, in this reasoning, which means to judge. And an example is like not to steal, right, or not to lie, or more correctly, not to be a false witness against your neighbor. And in the New Testament context, a very good point of reference to this, right? A very good point of reference to this can be found in the Epistle to the Romans 7 and 7. Take note, 7 and 7, right? 8th question right here. What is distinctive about chukim? And can you give any examples? Now here, when we touch on chukim, remember we're going back to the fact that Abraham was also given this from Yahweh, right? Eloheinu hakadosh baruch hu baruch Hashem, the Holy One, blessed be He. Here in Genesis, the first book of Moshe, in Bereshit, Genesis 26 and 5, where it says, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes. So when we're speaking about the chukim here in question 8, chukim is connected with this right here, right? Not that right there. There we go. The H27 08, right? Hookah, 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 hookah. What is a hookah? A hookah is a statute, an ordinance, a limit, enactment, something prescribed, or simply put, a statute. Not statue, but a statute. There's also a noun feminine right here. Now here we have the hookah. We have also feminine and masculine aspects in the teaching, in the word, even in the attributes of Yahweh. It's important to know. Take note. Here we have hookah. Hookah is the feminine. Now hukim is the plural. So the question is, what is distinctive about hukim? Right? Hukim, right? And coming from hookah. But now hookah is the feminine that comes from the H2706 of hawk. Hawk. Right? It's all about the Hekshaus, hawk. Interesting, the idea of what this represents, hawk, right? A statute, an ordinance, a limit, something prescribed. Let's scroll down here, but let's get to the root. Here, an enactment, but here it comes from the H2710. And the root of hawk, which is at the root of hookah, which is at the root of hukim, comes from hakak. Hakak in the Hebrew, the H2710. And this means to cut out, to decree, to inscribe, to set. This means to engrave, to portray, to govern. This means to cut it in the rock. Think about it. Ancient engravings and ancient inscriptions. Check. To cut in, to cut upon, to engrave, to inscribe, to mark out, to engrave, to inscribe of a law. It's like when people say, well, it's not written in stone, or they may say it is written in stone. That which is inscribed, right, in stone, right, to hack. Here Strong's bring it out perfectly. It's from a primitive Afro-Shemitic root that properly means hakak, as it sounds in English, hakak, hack, to hack, hakak, hack, hakak, to hack. That is to engrave. In Judges 5 and 10, it means to be a scribe, but its ancient root points to even a ancient, you could say ancient truths and ancient mysteries of a lot of these engravings. By implication, to enact laws being cut in stone or metal in primitive times, or in the Zetepi, right? Zatepi in the Kedem, in the ancient times, in the first times, the primitive, the first times, the Kedem, Zatepi, the first time, to prescribe, interpreted as prescribed. So the original first sense of it was that which was hacked and cut in stone. Laws, Torot, that were cut in stone or metal tablets in the first times, in the primitive times. That's the actual, we can say the root, the etymology. But now as it's used, functional, growing up from that root is to prescribe something. So when we're asked right here, in this particular question right here concerning what is distinctive about hukim, right? We just gave you the root of it, right? Which is related to this word statutes, hukah, right? The word hukah. But here, H4C, Hebrew for Christians, John J. Parsons, and traditional Judaism brings it out like this. They say what is distinctive about hukim, and giving example, they say hukim are decrees. They use the term decrees, right, in the English. They are not rationally comprehensible, they say, right? So in modern Judaism, on this particular word, we're at somewhat of a diversion, though we agree that they interpret and believe it this way, that hukim are not rationally comprehensible and therefore function as divine fiats, like a divine let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be, just let it be. Can you explain? No, just it is what it is. When people say it is what it is, right? It be what it be. He be, right? Some examples include the laws of kashrut. These are the kosher foods, or the law of the tzitzis. This is a statute. This is a hukim, one of the hukim. But some say that it's not rationally, right? In modern Judaism, they're not rationally comprehensible. Tefillin, right, to fill in the phylacteries. You know, the phylactery box on the forehead, right, at the upper hairline of the forehead, and also on the left arm. What does this mean? They say, well, in modern Judaism, they say, well, they are decrees that are not rationally comprehensible. But if we get to the root of the word, chukim, from hakak, right, we get to recognize that it's about the ancient engravings, about things that happened in the first times, in the kedem. Hebrew, we say kedem, the first time, the kadmonim, you know, the former people in former times in the first time said this, or the Zatepi from the ancient Tawi perspective. Remember where we're at right here, that we were coming out of Mitzrayim, out of Tamari, right? So let's not play ignorant. The sacrifice of the red heifer, the para aduma, the red heifer, or what we call the red hathor. Get it? The red hathor, and so on. Right? They say that these are the examples in modern Judaism, according to, but what they ignore or kind of skirt around, at least publicly, is this root that we just brought out to you, right? The ancient engravings, right? These ancient engravings. And you saw that right here. So here, question 9, are all people intended to keep all the commandments? Right? Are all people, right, intended to keep all the commandments? Because some Christians, and especially the Christians, you know, they go around forcing people, you know, other people, those that speak to the children of Israel, they just push it on everybody, right? But anyway, let's answer this. Question 9, are all people intended to keep all the commandments? No. Can we say it louder? No, low, no. No in English, low in Hebrew. No, low. Or in Arabic, la. Low, no. Some of the mitzvot, some of the commandments, right, they pertain only to the woman, right? Some pertain only to the woman, right? To woman, right? Others pertain only to the Kohanim, to the priests, and to the Lewim, to the Levites. And there's some that pertain to the Kohanim that don't specifically pertain to, generally speaking, Lewim, the Levites. There are other mitzvot, commandments, that pertain to kings and to rulers and even to judges, etc., right? According to the Mishnah, which is one of our ancient studies, women, right? The women are exempted from those mitzvot, those commandments, those mitzvot that are restricted by time. Again, women, right, of Yisrael Yasharala, right, are exempted from those mitzvot, those commandments that are restricted by time. We can get into the details of that. It's a whole reason in itself, and we can point to the Torah, right, and also the KJV Bible as a kind of a stepping stone. But let's watch our step. Here, question 10. What is the Torah She Be'al Peh? What is the Torah She Be'al Peh? She Be'al Peh. What is the Torah She, that which is, right, Be, right, by way of all, Be'al, by way of upon, to say almost like it's up upon, the Torah that is up upon the Peh, or also we point it as the Feh. Torah She Be'al Feh, Torah She Be'al Peh. The Peh is the mouth. The Torah that is upon the mouth. What is the direction, instruction, the teaching? The Torah She Be'al Peh. The Torah She Be'al Feh. The Torah that is upon the mouth. What does that mean, Chabarim? This basically, in the English sense, would be to say, well, this is the Torah that is oral, that is spoken. Like they say, oral tradition, that which is said. It's been said by those of old time. Robenu, Yeshua HaNotzri, brought that out in the Brit Chadasha for us as well. So the Torah, She Be'al Peh, Torah She Be'al Feh, the Torah that is on the mouth, it refers to the legal and the interpretive tradition, right, that is handed down by word of mouth, or what we call the oral tradition. So even Hebraically, the Hebrews, who are also Afro-Shemitic and African-related people, African people as well, as we use this term today, right, also have oral tradition. So when we talk about the Hebrew oral tradition, everybody, oh, but then they say, well, we forget about the Bible, the book, we want to go back to oral tradition. It's kind of confusing, right, to them. But keep it simple here. The Torah Sheba Al Peh, it refers to the legal and interpretive traditions handed down by word of mouth until these were codified in the Mishnah and the Gemara, what is generally referred to as the Talmud. Now, I know a lot of ones go off on that right there, right? Because they're not really grounded in the fact that Talmud, the word Talmud is an operative word, right? That means learning in the sense of teaching, and the Talmud is a disciple, right? So Robeno had his 12 Talmudim, Talmudav, Talmudayo, his disciples. You know what I'm saying? And we are called to be disciples, right? In his teaching, because he is our rabbi of rabbis, Yeshua HaNotri. Check, right? So give us a teaching of his majesty. But when we look at the Torah Sheba Al Peh, much of what has come to us as the New Testament in some ways also connect with it. If you read the New Testament, it has numerous, a whole bunch of quotes, and the number of references. If you take the Old Testament references out of the New Testament, it will be totally incoherent. But that's what happens with counterfeit Christianity. It's incoherent because they don't really have the foundation, the groundation. Notice Yeshua always points to Yeshua, aka, Jesus, as they say in the English nowadays, Jesus Christ. He's pointing to that. And then what they have, and Yeshua said this, and Yeshua said that. This is also a oral tradition. Check. That didn't come down from a mountain or nothing like that. Or Yeshua even said there to write this or that. The only place that it really has like a command to write would be that last book, the Chazon Yochanan, or Yohanes Rai, is the revelation, the vision of John. So that's the Torah Sheba'al Peh, right? So we have the Torah Shebiktab, the Torah that is written, the direction instruction is written, and the Torah Sheba'al Peh, the Torah that is communicated, right, by mouth, like the reason. When we talk about come make with reason. So we have the Mishnah, the Gemara, and even the Talmud, generally speaking, because there's more than the Babylonian Talmud. There's the Jerusalem Talmud, there's the Ethiopian Hebrew Talmud as well, right? Is basically a compendium, right, of reasonments of different sages, different scholars from different times. So it allows us to go check it out and to find the truth for ourselves. Now, true, there are some Yehudi and Jews that go to that more than to the Torah. We go to the Torah, and then even when we go to the Mishnah, the Gemara, or other Talmudic teaching, right, we can compare it, and some things we don't agree with. But we recognize how even many of us, if we're talking and reasoning, we might come to faulty conclusions, right? And there has a lot of that too, where two scholars of Torah are disputing a reasoning about an interpretation of something, and it allows us to sharpen our skills, right? But the Torah is first and is foremost. The Torah Shebiktab, as Robeno Yeshua says, it is written, right? And what is written? Two more questions right here to seal up. What is Midrash? Midrash. What is Midrash? Midrash. It's an exegetical method, right? Well, Midrash, see, Midrash has to come from Darash. Darash is where it says to seek the Lord while he may be found, right? To seek the Lord. And so the root is Darash. Darash is to seek, to inquire. In fact, we brought a patriarch into this. Let's bring a matriarch into this, right? You remember where it says that Rebecca went to inquire, right? You remember it said that she went to inquire of the Lord, right? Does it use that word right there? Oh, they use it with I-O-E. This whole King James thing. inquire. There it goes. It's with an E, right? Inquire. In Bereshit, Genesis 25:22, right? And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? If so, why I like this? And she went, this is Rebecca, right, the matriarch, she went to inquire of Jehovah, of Yahweh, right? And here the word inquire is the H1875. This you won't find in the H4C notes, but we give thanks to Hebrew for Christians and Toda Rabbah to John J. Parsons for what he's provided, you know, as a basic stepping stone, but we have to study to shew ourselves approved and see. You see the word darash? Darash. Darash is the root of midrash. It means to resort to seek with care, to inquire, to require, to resort, to frequent a place. It also means to consult, to inquire of, to seek for us, Hailahim, for other people, they may seek their gods or necromancers or whoever, to seek deity, the God, the divine, in prayer and worship, right? To seek with a demand, to require. Also, you see the fifth entry of Darash, the H1875, it means to investigate, to inquire. The sixth entry, to ask for, to require, to demand. But notice the seventh is to practice, to study, to follow, to seek with application. Darash. So it's that famous phrase that people say, seek the Lord while he may be found. Derosh. Derosh Jehovah. Right? Derosh, to seek in this sense. Right? So it has a sense of to study, to show yourself approved. As Rabbi Shaul, as the Apostle Paulos, our Jewish Hebrew Benjamite brother, brought out in the Brit Chadash text, to seek with care, to allow oneself to be inquired of, to require, to inquire, to frequent, to tread, to follow, to seek. Now we point this out because here we have the matriarch, Rivka. Let's just bring out the Hebrew of this verse, just a basic Peshat, plain reading. Vayita rotzatzu, ha banim, and the children, right? Yita rotzatzu. Actually, the word rot means to run. So what the Hebrew is saying, they say as they struggled in her belly. But the Hebrew brings out the sense almost like as they ran in her belly, right? As they crushed each other, but like it's like it has a rot sense. They moved back and forth. They crushed each other, oppressed each other. They pushed, right? It's an interesting kind of struggling here. There's different words for struggle, but this is like they crushed, you know, pushed out each other. They're like crushed each other, down pressed each other. Wayita rotzatzu habanim bik'arbaha in her. Vatomer, and she said, right? Vatomer im kain, if like this, lamazeh. If it's like this, if I'm to be this matriarch, right, in this Baraka family, if this is so, then lamazeh anoki, lamazeh anoki. Why am I like this? Or literally, if like this, why this I? If it is so, if it is, yes, Cain, some say Khan, right? But Cain, im Cain, lama ze anochi, im Cain, lama ze anoki. Literally, im Cain, if like this, lama, why ze, why this anoki, why I, subjective I, the subjective I, right? Why am I like this? Right? She was taking it personal. And here it says here, Vatelek lidrosh eta Yehovah. Vatelek. And she went somewhere, right? Rebecca went somewhere. So don't tell me that a woman cannot consult with Yahweh. Because here we have the matriarch, right? Vatelek, she going lidrosh. To derosh, here's the word right here, li derosh, darash. That's at the root of midrash. So, for example, if you lead the Rosh, then the reasonment that you would have from what you got from that lead the Rosh, from Darash, right, from seeking, inquiring, investigating, would be your Midrash. This is so ones can't overstand. So she lead the Rosh et Yehovah, right, Yahuwah, right, lead the Rosh et Yahuwah. She inquired, right, of he who be who he be. And he who he be said to her, now here's where she gets her midrash, because she lead the Rosh, because she sought him, now she got her midrash. So once again, question 11, right here, what does midrash mean, right? So in modern Judaism, right, coming from the ancient tradition and as practiced by Torah observance, a midrash is an exegetical method that uses stories, allegories, speculation to further explain or try to bring out a reasoning. It's like when we are trying to figure out, well, what does this mean in the Bible here? Well, this one has a good reasoning, and then I hear that reason, I say, well, yeah, I agree with you, but the way I see it based on what you're saying, and we reason. So we're reasoning on it. That's what we're talking about when we talk about midrash. So it's on the ancient midrash, those before us, what they reason on, the exegetical method that uses stories, allegories, right? Speculation to further the biblical text, collections of midrashim, right? Like studies. We call it simply a study, an investigation, such as the Mekilta, the Sifra, the Midrash Rabbah, etc., right? Are considered part of the Jewish and Judaic, the oral Torah tradition, right? So there's a separation from the Torah Shebiktab, that which is written, and then we have the Torah Sheba'al Peh, that which is a collection of what has been passed on, like a reasoning about this Torah text right here, that helps us maybe understand or put it into some context. Some midrash, some of the studies, the investigations, right, the oral tradition and the studies, the reasonings are homiletical. They call homiletical, right? Like our Agada, like the Passover Seder, so to speak. The Passover Seder is like one kind of example right there, the traditional Passover Seder. Whereas others are legal, like halakha, what's known as the halakha. And here's the interesting about halakha. Halakha, remember in the quote that we just showed you right there concerning the matriarch right here? Let's go right here. You see where it says, and she went, right? Vatelek, right? Vatelek yalak. You see, yalak means to walk, right? But the yalak, it comes from halak, the H1980. So halakha, because that brings us now to the 12th question right here, preliminary questions for this 18th sabbatical study, for Shabbat Mishpatim, for Sabbath, right? The judgments, right? The ordinances, the verdicts. So she halakha, she went, she come, she tried it, right? So we talk about halakha. Let's get to the next question right here. Keep that on the screen, Chabarim, right there. So the midrash. So the others which are legal are called halakha. Halakha, which means like how the procedures, the proceeding. Like proceeding literally is like going to and fro. How is it to go? Halak, to go, right? Vatelek, and she went. So 12th question, in the Judaic triad and tradition, what does the word halakha, right? Halakha mean, Chabarim. In the Judaic or even the latter-day Jewish tradition based on earlier triads and traditions, right? What does the word halakha, right? The Hebrew word halakha mean, Chabarim? The way to walk, basically. It's like when we as Rastafari say, like, we walk it out, or we say one can talk it out, right? And we should talk it out and reason on it, but its intent, the application is to walk it out, to live it out, right? So the halak, right, is to walk, the way to apply, the way to put into our life, our liberty, right? The way we live it, the way we walk it out, right? The way to apply the way, right? The halak. Remember, halak means to go, to walk. Literally, it means to walk, right? To walk, right? Halak means to walk, akin to the yalak, to walk, to proceed. So this now is speaking about the proceedings, right? How we're to like live this out in as we say, in actuality. How do we apply the various mitzvot, right, in everyday life? Can we apply? Or even in some cases we cannot. It may we cannot apply every mitzvot in every condition, right? So it provides the reasoning, the logic, the logos. Traditional halakha includes takanot. So we have traditional halakha, right? The traditional walking it out, so to speak. This involves, right, the way, right? The way, right? The truth, the life, living it out. This involves takanot, which is case law. And this proves that Yeshua was and is Robenu, but is the rabbi of rabbis. Because now when we study the Brit Chadash, the New Testament, from this perspective, everything becomes immediately clear. Immediately clear, right? Immediately clear. You know, Yeshua as the Moshiach, as Ha-Moshiach, the way, the truth, and life. As we say, the King of Kings, right? The Almighty Eyes Christ, Yahuwah and his Messiah, Mashiach. So traditional halakha, it includes takanot. Takanot is case law. We find this in the Brit Chadasha, where they ask him, how many times shall I forgive somebody? Just 7 times and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes he say, well, let me give you this example. Wait, he gives these examples, right? This is like a case law, like a case study. We have the gezerot. Gezerot are restrictions, right? Yeshua gives us gezerot, right? Restrictions, right? And then there's also the min hagim. Min hagim. What is min hagim? Min hagim is customs. Even one can say tradition, they're customs, right? He says, do these things in my remembrance, right? Do these things in my remembrance. When you keep those things I showed you to do, right? This is both including, you know, the way to walk it out, the halakha, right? This includes the takanot, the case laws, the example. You know, the example, there's one man that owes somebody a lot of money, and somebody else that owes a man a little bit of money. He forgives both debts to both men. Who do you think will be more grateful? Well, of course, in most usual, sane situations, the person who had to pay a lot of money, if they're forgiven that debt, that's a greater debt. So in that case, he's given a case study, even in an allegorical setting, to bring out the real halakha, the way, right? The Torah is the way, the truth, and the life, right? And the Moshiach is the way, the truth, and the life to walk it out. So this corresponds to the 3 categories of the mitzvot. The 3 categories earlier, of the 3 categories in question 6, right? The 6th question about the 3 categories of the mitzvot. What we have here with the takanot, the gezerot, and the minhagim, or the case law, case study, the restrictions, and the customs, these correspond to the 3 categories of mitzvot, right? 3 categories of commandments, right, that are found in the Torah Shebikatab, the Torah that is katab, the Torah that is written, or the written, right? The written Torah. So here, brothers and sisters and brothers, some preliminary, right? As the King of Kings, Kadama Haile Selassie, says to I and I, his advice to all is to fulfill, right? The 10 words, the 10 commandments. You know, the rest is case study, but that's the essence, that's the pure, right? That pure commandment, right? The case study was necessary because sometimes you give it to a person simple and they say, well, what do you mean thou shalt not steal? You know what I'm saying? So you have to recognize, well, taken from this person and taken from, you know what I mean? You have to give them those examples there, as we also have tried to give and attempted to give, you know, some examples, even right here in the study of the Torah, right? The directions, instructions here at this 18th sabbatical study for this Shabbat Strong. Now we have basic questions. That was just preliminary, just the preliminary questions, right? These are some basic preliminary questions, things that, very important things about HaTorah, right? What every, Black Jew should know about Torah. Every Hebrew and Israelite. These are the basic we should know about Torah. The basic we should also understand about certain traditions that, whether you like it or not, or know it or not, are there for those who might be New Testament, are there even and especially in the New Testament. When we start to see Yeshua HaNotri, right, as a rabbi in the real context of the Yehudi, the Jews, and the Israelites, even the New Testament, then we can basically trace what is going on, and it becomes very, very clear, right? It becomes very clear. We come out of Babylon, and we can come out of confusion, very, very easy. So anyway, Shalom Chaverim, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom for this Shabbat HaMishpatim, coming forward, Chaverim. Some of the preliminary questions, about 12 of them. Also, we went into a little bit more on defining civil laws, like civil. Civil means being a citizen, because here in HaTorah, what we have right here is the birth, right? The birth of the nation, right? The birth of the nation, Yisrael, the birth of the nation. Some might say Yasharala, the birth of the nation. And here, this Torah reading is bringing out like citizen, right? Citizen directions, instructions. And this getting into the basics of the Torah, right? The basics of the Torah. So we can call this the Hebrew word, right here of the day. So Shalom, Chabarim, Shalom. This is Yadin, right? This is Chaber, Shelchem, Yadin, Rastafari, Rastafari, LOJ, the Line of Judah Society. Check us out, Rastafari Israelites on the YouTube. Some of the live streaming there. Also our main hub on the web, link and contact at lojs.org. That is lojs.org. Shalom, Chabarim, Shalom, Shua Shalom.
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, O children of Israel, O children of Israel? Are ye not as...
My advice to all is to fulfill the Ten Commandments.
Thank you for whatever you have done. Thank you, my brethren, for all your contributions.
This discipleship radio broadcast has been made possible by donations from audience and listeners like you. Give thanks. Thank you very much, Miss Ghana.
Thank you, my friend. Torah is the law. Down to now. Rastafari is the law. Rastafari is the law. Movement of Jah. Movement of Jah.
Inside the movements of Jah Rastafari. Come on, how to Selassie's children. The Line of Judah Mission. Yes, LOJ Society. Inside the Barry Bro.
Thank you for whatever you have done. Thank you for whatever you have done. Thank you for whatever you have done. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. The Lord. Amen. 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 Amen.
it's a privilege, this I know now. Can't even think of flying away. The only place me feel like home. How can I ever walk away from me, lady? Jerusalem. How can I ever walk away from me, mama? She would never overstay. So give me the feeling that I belong. Rastafari. Give me the feeling that I belong. Well, me not ever deal you wrong, no, no. Give me the feeling that I belong. And can forever keep I strong now. Give me the feeling, and I pray, well, me say amen. Every day, well, Babylon is on me, tell that I and I fulfill yours. Well, me not need no more enemies, searching for a peace of mind, and I know I can't deny what happens to me when I read the Bible, and how many people overcome their trouble, and the roots of me sisters and me brothers. Just like you, I feel the pain when the children are dying, and mamas are crying. Just like you, I feel the joy when everything is hiding and the sun is shining. Oh, yo. So give me the feeling that I belong. Rastafari. Give me the feeling that I belong. Well, me not ever did ya wrong, no, no. Give me the feeling that I belong. And just forever keep I strong now. Give me the feeling, and I pray, well, me say amen. Just like you. Just like you. I was born and raised in Israel. Well, it's a privilege, this I know now.
Psalm 67. God be merciful unto us, and bless us, and cause his face to shine upon us. Selah. Psalm 67. God be merciful unto us, and bless us, and cause his face to shine upon us. Selah. God be merciful unto us, and bless us, and cause his face to shine upon us. Selah. God be merciful unto us, and bless us, and cause his face to shine upon us. Selah. That thy way may be known upon earth, thy saving help among all nations. Let the people praise thee, O God. Let all the people praise thee. O let the nations be glad and sing for joy. For thou shalt judge the people righteously, and govern the nations upon earth. Selah. Let the people praise thee, O God. Let all the people praise thee. Then shall the earth yield her increase, and God, even our own God, shall bless us. God shall bless us, and all the ends of the earth shall fear him, shall fear him, shall fear him, shall fear him, shall fear him. Psalm 67. God be merciful unto us, and bless us, and cause his face to shine upon us. Selah. That thy way may be known upon earth, thy saving help, thy saving help, thy saving help, thy saving help. Psalm 67. God be merciful unto us and bless us, and cause his face to shine upon us. See, that thy way may be known upon earth, thy saving health among all nations. Let the people praise thee, O God. Let all the people praise thee. O let the nations be glad and sing for joy. For thou shalt judge the people righteously and govern the nations upon earth. Selah. Let the people praise thee, O God. Let all the people praise thee. Then shall the earth yield her increase, and God, even our own God, shall bless us. God shall bless us, and all the ends of the earth shall fear him, shall fear him, shall fear him, shall fear him, shall fear him. God be merciful unto us and bless us. God be merciful unto us and bless us, and cause his face to shine upon us. Selah. God be merciful unto us and bless us, and cause his face to shine upon us. Selah. God be merciful unto us and bless us, cause his face to shine upon us. Selah.
God bless you. We find your peace out unprovable. God bless you for coming to the church tonight. God bless your day,
Jehovah Jireh, my provider. Jehovah Jireh, my provider. Jehovah Jireh, my provider. I will never ever be alone. You're always beside me, holding me and calling me your own. Only to you I belong, Jaja, ooh, Jaja, you, Jaja, I'm my closest friend, Jaja, King, Jaja, you are everything, so I sing, Jehovah Jireh, you're my provider, Jireh, my Jehovah Jireh, you're my provider. All the crooked paths shall be made straight, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper. You keep me safe, providing for me. You shield me, Jaja, heal me, Jaja, free me, Jaja. You're my closest friend, Jaja, King, Jaja. You are everything, so I sing, oh yeah. Jehovah Jireh, you're my provider. Jehovah Jireh, you're my provider, yeah, yeah. Jireh, ooh, you are my heart and soul desire. I praise your name and lift you higher. Hey, Jehovah Jireh, you're my provider. You take me and you make me higher. I'm moving forward with you. Oh Lord, yeah, yeah. Mighty Jaja, you're my provider.
We find your peace out in the provable. God bless you for coming to the show tonight. God bless your day,
Dear Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can and the wisdom to know the difference. This I pray. Living one day at a time, enjoying every moment. Accepting the hardships of peace, and no, I'm not saying that I want it. But he who trusts in the Most High, by his steps Jah will always abide. Jah love it surround me evermore. This my prayer every time I rise. Yeah, Lord, give me serenity to accept the things I can't change, and the courage to change the things I can. Yeah, and if in life on my journey I should stumble and fall, make me wiser than the man I already am. Yeah. Thanks for another day. Thank you for the obstacles they're moving out the way. Thank you for the talent they give me to open up my mouth and express myself in a different way. Thank you for mama. Thanks for dada. Thank you for the blessing where you show up on my jaw. Jah, your love is around me evermore. So every day my praise up for sure. Yeah, Lord, give me serenity to accept the things I can't change, and the courage to change the things I can. Yeah, and if in life on my journey I should stumble and fall, make me wiser than the man I already am. Yeah. Living one day at a time, enjoying every moment. Accepting the hardships of peace. So no, I'm not saying that I want it, yeah. But he who trusts in the Most High, by his side Jah will always abide. Jah love, it's around me evermore. This my prayer every time I rise. Yeah, Lord, give me serenity to accept the things I can't change, and the courage to change the things I can. Yeah, and if in life on my journey I should stumble and fall, make me wiser than the man I already am. Yeah. Thanks for another day. Thanks for the obstacles they're moving out the way. Thank you for the talent you give me so for open up my mouth and express myself in a different way. Thank you for mama. Thanks for dada. Thank you for the blessing that you show up on me, Jah. Jah, your love, it's around me evermore. So every day my praise up for sure. Yeah, Lord, give me serenity to accept that which I can't change, and the courage to change that which I can. Yeah, and in this life on my journey, if I should stumble and fall, make me wiser than the man I already am. Yeah, Lord, give me serenity to accept that which I can't change, and the courage to change that which I can. Yeah, and in life on my journey, if I should stumble and fall, and make me wiser than the man I already am. Yeah, Lord, give me serenity to accept that which I can't change, and the courage to change that which I can. Yeah, and it's right on my journey.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.